Today we're going to have a look at Landslide. Stick around. Hello everyone, it's James from Practice Like a Pro, providing you with simple, clear guitar tips to help you on your guitar playing journey. So we're going to have a look at Fleetwood Mac's Landslide today. It's got a great finger picking pattern and it's quite folky and it's got a couple of nice chords in it. Let's get into it. If you got some value out of today's video, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. We upload 3 lessons a week. Okay, if you haven't noticed already, we need to have a capo on the 3rd fret to make this work. Now, this picking pattern is kind of the same for every chord that we're going to come across in this progression. It just depends where the bass note is, whether it's something like a C, which is a 5-string chord, or a G, which is a 6-string chord. We'll attack them in order. I'm going to adopt a bit more of a classical approach to pick this, so I'm going to use the thumb, the index, the middle, and the ring fingers. If you just want to use the thumb, the index, and the middle, that's fine, but this is just the way that I prefer to do it. So we're going to start, fret a C chord, and with his thumb we're going to pick the A string, with his index we're going to pick the D, and then we're going to come back to the A string. A, D, A. Then with my ring finger I'm going to reach up to the B string. Now with the B string in this case, but the 4th note of each bar, it wants to be just that little bit longer than the others. And then it goes back to quavers for the other 3 notes of the bar. So we're going to finish that off with the G, then the D, then the G. And can you see how I'm using middle, index, middle to pick that? So the whole bar is A, D, A, B, G, D, G. And I'm using thumb, index, thumb, ring, middle, index, middle. Get really comfortable with this pattern because you're going to get loads of mileage out of it for this tune. So we've done the C chord so far. Then we're going to go to an E minor 7 chord. Now it's a bit of a floaty, strange one is this. You might not have come across it in this sort of shape before, but it's what they're doing on the record. It sounds great. And we're going to pick exactly the same strings, but we're going to fret this chord instead of the C chord. So with my index finger, I'm pressing the 2nd fret of the A string. And then with my pinky, you can use your 3rd finger if you want, but I prefer to use my pinky. I'm on the 3rd fret of the B string. With the same picking pattern. If you glue that with the C chord, it makes a little bit more sense. Moving into the 3rd bar of the verse, we're going to go to A minor and we're picking exactly the same strings again. And then into the 4th bar, it's back to that E minor 7 chord. So I call this the verse, but it's kind of the main section to the song that everybody knows. The chords, it's a 4-chord progression. You've got C, E minor 7, A minor, and back to E minor 7, with the same picking pattern because they're all sort of 5-string chords. For this next section, I'm just going to fret. Although it says G, you can play a G chord if you want, but to be honest, it's a waste of energy. I'm just going to hit the root note on the bottom because the rest of the strings are open. And you'll see moving into the next bar why we're doing that. So I'm going to fret the 3rd fret on the low E string. And just as before, I'm going to use thumb, index, thumb. But instead of picking the A string like we did in the previous progression, we're going to pick the low E string because this is a 6-string chord. So you've got thumb, index, thumb. So that's low E, D, low E. Then I'm going to use my ring finger on the B, middle finger on the G, index finger on the D. And then I'm coming back with the middle finger on the G to round the bar off. The next chord's a G major 7 chord, but it's got the note that makes it a G major 7 in the bass. So we're going to take this 3rd fret and move it down to the 2nd and do exactly the same thing, picking wise. So to glue those 2 bars together, you've got G, F sharp. For the following 2 bars, you're going to go to E minor, and as we've gone down, can you see the direction we're travelling in? We're going down to that low E string. And you can literally let go and do exactly the same picking pattern. So this second section is an 8-bar progression. For the first 4 bars, we're over 6 strings and the bass note's always on the low E string. Moving into the latter 4 bars, we go to 5-string chords, and it's sort of very, very similar to what we've done in the first section at the beginning of the video. So moving on into bar 5 of this progression, you go into C, which is just the same as the first bar that we looked at the very beginning of the video. Then we're going to go to E minor 7 again, and then we're going to go to an A minor this time, and we're going to stick on that for 2 bars. It's the same as the very beginning of the song, bar the last bar, and it's the same picking pattern because it's over 5 strings. Let me play those latter 4 bars for you just so you can hear them in context. And now I'm going to glue all 8 bars together, and I'll put the tab on screen. Feel free to pause it if you just want to work through that whole section in its entirety. So that's it, you just ping pong between those 2 sections, but you do sit on each section for quite a long time. So I'd probably get the record up on YouTube and just kind of make mental notes of where it changes. Now, you could follow a chart for this, but you sit on some of these sections for such a long time that you'll probably lose your place just because your mind will start to wander. That picking pattern's great sort of couch exercise. I always talk about sort of sitting on the sofa and doing like finger drills and that kind of thing. As you can see, other than the bass note changing for the second section to upper string, it's basically the same thing all the way through. So maybe just pick one of those chords and just kind of get your fingers around it to the point where it's autonomous and you can focus on changing chords. And because this doesn't change much, you can kind of focus on these sort of like E minor 7 and these sort of G major 7 and these sort of funny shapes that you need to get your fingers around. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, please let us know in the comments. If you like what we do at Practice Like a Pro, please do consider subscribing. We upload 3 guitar lessons a week. And if you'd like to learn something else, have a look at some of these videos over here. Thank you very much for watching, and until I see you next time, keep practicing like a pro. Cheers.